Hello everyone, well, welcome to this little video module on knowledge sharing and brainstorming. I'm going to explain to you a little bit more about what this is about, what is the aim of those two steps, and give you maybe a few methods to help you prepare your committee work. So first, on knowledge sharing. So the aim is to ensure the same level of knowledge in the committee. So that everyone can really understand what the topic is about and can really see where the committee can go with the resolution. It always happens after the topic has been defined, after the topic definition, when you can identify the keywords and the key concepts of the topic, then you can move on knowledge sharing. So here you produce some content for the IC. Yeah, so this is where you produce some content for all the ICs by looking on the TOs, of course, and also on the researches that delegates have done. Don't be afraid to give some time to the delegates if they need some time to go over their research, or if they didn't have time to properly read the TOs, then you can leave them some time to do so, especially in this session where we have a lot of time for committee work. Don't be afraid to leave them 15-20 minutes to go over their research, think about what they did, and then move on to the proper knowledge sharing. If you have some time before the session, you can of course use it to prepare your knowledge sharing, meaning that you can give some tasks to your delegates to do, some specific things to prepare, for example, give them specific areas and make them in groups, or give them specific stakeholders, and either in pairs or alone they can prepare this specific area of the topic, and when they arrive they act as little bit as experts on the part of the topic that they prepared, and this can be really benefit for the entire group. Maybe I can give you a few methods for you to use during the session. So what you can do, for example, as I mentioned, is having some experts either on stakeholders or on areas of the topics, on for example current measures that are already in place, on legal frameworks, something like that. It can either be alone or in little groups. You can also do always the wall of knowledge. So the basic idea is that you give one idea, they have some time to prepare it, you give one idea or one piece of knowledge per post-it, and then share whatever they have and present their post-its. You can even group them in subcategories once you have all the post-its, and then you can leave the wall of knowledge throughout the entire committee work on one wall so that they can come back to it whenever they want. You can, why not, imagine a role play where the delegates can stand for the stakeholders that are involved in your topic. You can also have some speed datings. This is also called the knowledge cafe. So they can have there is one half of the committee one half of the delegates who is not moving, and the other half who is moving for one delegate or another. You know how speed datings work, and so each of the not moving delegates is responsible for one part of the topic, and they can take notes, and then the moving delegates move through the entire datings, and then at the end the not moving delegates can present all the things they received and exchange the knowledge they have, and at the end you end up with a big bank of knowledge. You can also use the explain as if I was 5. So you play the 5-year-old, and the delegates have to basically explain to you the topics as if you were 5, so you can ask a lot of questions, and this pushes the delegate to rephrase the topic and to have it really clear on their minds. So this is for the knowledge sharing. So now maybe we can move on to the brainstorming. So the brainstorming. Brainstorming is used to find many solutions to a given problem. It uses lateral thinking, meaning that when one person says what idea, one other person can say, oh yeah, and this reminds me of this, and this makes me think of that, and from one idea to another and to another and to another, we can move on and be really creative. Creativity is a really important thing about brainstorming. You can use it at different stages of your committee work, at topic definition, knowledge sharing, but it is mainly used to find the OCs. What you need to be careful with brainstorming is the time. Because you need time for the brainstorming, but you also you always have to bear in mind that you will then after it's finished you will need some time for the discussing and the grouping phase. The more ideas you have and the more time you will need to look through them, to say them out loud for the entire group, and to discuss and to select them. So be really careful about time. You can prepare it during the team building. For example, with some creativity exercises. For example, you have 100 left shoes, what can you do with it? You have a pen, please give me 100 uses of this pen. This kind of exercise prepare the brainstorming because it pushes the delegates to find creative solutions to a really, really simple problem. So the brainstorming is something that you can really adapt to your topic and to your needs, because there is a lot of features that you can adapt and change in the brainstorming. So the thing you can adapt is, for example, the duration from 5 minutes to half an hour, and if that's what you need. You can adapt the number of responses you expect per person or per group. They can be in group or they can be alone to think about the ideas. They can move. You can why not put some music on if you want. You can adapt the position, meaning that they can be seated around the table, but they can also be standing. They can move around the room. Why not? They could be lying on the floor and shout their ideas. You can you can also say how to give the idea, meaning that the idea is given. Meaning that they can of course write it on a small post-it. They can write it on a large piece of paper to construct it over time. But you can also have them shout the idea to the room. In this case, maybe be there to write everything that they shout. You can also choose how constructed the idea must be. For example, if you do one first brainstorming on ideas, and then you do another brainstorming just reusing the ideas you already have to have them more constructed in the end. You can also ask for really realistic or very crazy ideas, and that's a crazy idea. That's how you get really creative and really interesting resolutions in the end for your committee. A few methods of brainstorming I can give you. The really classic one and is that you give that much time and you expect that much ideas. You can also draw an issue tree or a mind map. That's the kind of the same thing, meaning that you go from your topic here, and then you subdivide your topic in sub issues, and then each issue and is then subdivided in smaller issues or smaller solutions. For example, one stakeholder can be divided in several sub stakeholders, and each stakeholder can take care of one part of the problem, and then you end up with a really big map on what your topic is and on what you want to do with the topic. For example, you can have one mind map for the knowledge sharing and to define your topic, and then either you go from this one to find some solutions, or you create a new one to find some solutions. You can also use the diamond method. It's kind of the same idea, but with this one, so you say what your topic is about, but after that you define the aims of your topic, the goals that you want to achieve with the resolution, and then you define the problems of your topic, meaning the ICs, and then from this you can define some solutions, and that would be more or less your Cs. And then you can see if each of the solution matches the aims that you defined at the beginning of your committee work. After what also you can do is that you give a paper, and everyone write one idea on this paper, and then everyone write one idea on this piece of paper, and then you pass the sheet of paper to the person next to you, and they go from the idea you wrote and they developed it a little bit more, and then you give the paper to this person next to them, and they keep developing the idea, and at the end of the circle the idea is really constructed, thought through, and everyone got the chance to give their opinion on their ideas. What you can also do is divide the committee in several groups. And in the corner of the room, and each corner is responsible for one aspect of the problem, and so some persons stay on those corners, and so a part of the committee just go from one corner to another and brainstorm on this aspect of the problem one by one. What you can also do is ask for 2 or more, as much as you want, ideas, rather realistics, 2 really crazy ideas, and 2 unrealizable ideas, and everyone has to come up with those ideas, those 6 or more, or 10 if you want, ideas, and in the end you will see that more often the crazy and unrealizable ideas are the ones that are that the committee keeps and try to develop and try to really implement in reality. So here are a few methods, but there is still a lot more on every guide and training guides that Alina and the VPs gave you on the Google Drive. So just go to them and please ask me or the board for any questions you might have, and I will see you all very soon at the session. Bye!